Hey,
Hey,
so what's the plan? Are you going on some tour in Norway? Or was
yeah,
that?
it's not in Oslo for like the film, but only in Oslo. Yeah.
All right, you're not doing the full Norwegian tour or anything.
No, no,
No,
no.
that would be cool though.
Yeah, I mean it's not my film tour,
Oh,
but
okay.
no.
But the thing you did last summer is included, right? Or
Yes,
all right.
I think there will be two movies, and one is the one with Klev and me climbing Blomman, and then there's one more with ice climbing.
We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But I think we should start with some. Well, start from the beginning, really. You turned 27 years old yesterday, and how did it all begin? When did you start climbing, actually?
I think I was about 8. I started in the local climbing gym.
And why?
I mean, I liked climbing trees. I liked climbing on playgrounds, and I tried to climb in the climbing gym, and it was fun. So,
We're not going to dwell on it. Don't worry. But to make a really long story, I guess, quite short, you started competing in climbing, and you had a lot of success early on. Actually, I mean, you were youth world champion, double European champion. Moving on to fourth in the European Championships as a senior in 2017. You've been finalist at World Championships. You've been finalist at the European Championships and two-time finalist at the World Cup as well. So quite a lot of success, and these are really good results. But somehow I feel that I got a feeling that you could have done. You haven't really reached your full potential still.
I don't know.
No, you don't know. No one knows, right? But I mean, okay, I guess winning the world championships when you're youth, that's sort of full potential. But right now, are you where you want to be in well, competition wise? Like,
Yeah, it's difficult to say. I think like in the youth, it was a bit more. It was more simple. I think with the style, it was easier to adapt. And also now with both lead and bouldering, it's also for sure I would have wanted to have better results. I guess that's also why I'm still competing to kind of. I'm still, I still want to do better. So
you still want more.
yeah,
Uh, but you said that the boulder and lead has made it more difficult. The fact that you have to sort of train for boulder sort of makes it more difficult to be good in lead, like be as good as you can be.
but I mean for me, when I was preparing for the OQS, I was doing a lot of bouldering because that's my weakness, like to do slabs and coordination. So I mean, if you spend a lot of time doing slab and coordination, of course, you have less focus to yeah to train lead or like the qualities you need for lead climbing. So
You would prefer just lead climbing.
nah, right now yes, but I mean, looking back, I wouldn't have changed anything. And also like it's also a lot about the environment that I train in. I think if I was living somewhere else in I don't know France or I mean another environment that's maybe more suitable for like bouldering World Cups, then maybe it would also be different. But now when I'm living here in Sweden, then it's like lead makes more sense.
Mm. So do you also enjoy lead more, or is it just a matter of? I mean, it's easier to train, sort of.
Yeah, no, I don't really have any preference. I think the lead discipline is a better way of it's a better way of competing. The format in bouldering is like and the setting is kind of more random.
So you
Uh,
think because of the style of the bouldering, then like
yeah, and I mean I mean, there will always be some kind of style, and it's kind of difficult to, and you always need to choose. So, how do you choose? I mean, someone will always be favored. It's like very broad, where like lead is more. I mean, the walls are really steep, and there is not like so much room for super crazy things. So it's very like fair.
I get what you're saying, and I sort of agree there because I mean you only need to look at the results in Boulder to see that it's really difficult to be consistent. I mean, you got a few guys that are up there all the time, but I guess this has a lot to do with the varying style. It's very different from competition to competition. Whereas in lead, you're more or less the same guys. Well, more like that anyway than in Boulder. So I think you're right there. That lead is more fair in that sense anyway. Speaking about bouldering, you did really make an effort, and you spent quite some time in Japan. I guess that was to become better at bouldering anyway, and also a good culture, I guess. How did it come about that you went to Japan for such a long time, twice, right?
I think I was there more than 2 times because I was also there for a competition. But I mean, it's the best climbers, or at main, or I mean, they have so many good climbers, and they have good gyms. So
So you choose the Japan. You said, okay, I would be better in bouldering, so let's go to the best team, and then you join them, or how was it actually? So is it-
yeah, I mean, they don't really have any team. Maybe they have some team trainings, but they usually just climb in the commercial gyms together or alone. So you can always find someone who is very good.
That's not so
That's not a statement.
Was really good to be there. Not only for bouldering, like for lead and for, I think, training in general and to kind of understand climbing.
Was it easy, like because of the language and stuff to train with
No.
them?
I mean, the language is, a lot of people don't talk English like fluently, but you can definitely manage. When you climb together, you don't need to speak so much.
That's true. That's true.
That's true. But what's it like when you hang out? You go out and eat and
Yeah, that's not as easy. I mean, with like Google Translate, and it's like it works pretty well. Or it's more about if like you find someone who are interested in, I don't know, hanging out or climbing together. I think that's more.
Who have you been hanging out there and climbing actually?
Pretty different people. I think the Japanese who I was climbing the most with was Hiro. It's the guy on Instagram with the red t-shirt.
But you contact them and you say, I'm coming to Japan and I will train with you, or how, like?
I mean, the first time when I came, I didn't really know anyone that well. But then I had a Norwegian friend with me, Tilo. Yeah, I mean, but then after a while, you kind of make friends. You can contact them. But even if you don't contact anyone and you show up at B Pump, you can always find one. That's incredible. I mean, maybe you've never seen them before, but yeah, it's always someone who is a great climber.
But so what are the biggest takeaways from Japan then?
I think what struck me the most was their attitude towards climbing. Yeah, they have a different training and climbing philosophy compared to what they try harder, and it's very meaningful.
Like, how is it to be like Swedish best climber? How is it for you to train in Sweden, and how does it work?
I mean, today I was climbing on my spray wall. Normally I have someone, but today I was alone. I'm kind of doing my thing.
But you don't have a coach, or
Yeah, I have a coach, but it depends like what kind of training I do, but I guess with like spray wall kind of sessions or just doing boulders is not there. I usually have like climbing friends who I climb with.
But do you have your like training plan which you follow, or do you train like I feel today I will do some, I don't know, like stamina, or I will do some whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I have a training plan definitely when I'm here, when I'm training. When I go outside climbing, no, I don't. But when I like now, I guess I will start training. So I will skip the first World Cups in lead, and I won't do bouldering. So I have like 6 months of a training cycle. So I will but I mean, I kind of keep it simple and try to do the simple thing.
But do you think it would be a big advantage for you if you could have a setup like Janja, for example, like with a coach that's there all the time, watching, seeing what you do, like these small adjustments every day?
I mean, yeah, for sure. That definitely would help. I mean, to have instant feedback. I mean, in both lead and bouldering is very good, and probably it's gonna be more like that in the future if you compete.
But do you have to do you film your when you? I mean, sure, once it's one thing, I guess, on the spray wall. But if you do some kind of, I don't know, boulder simulation or something, do you film yourself to be able to see what it actually looks like when you move, or is this a feeling thing?
Yeah, I mean, I should do it more, but yes, I do it. But I think in general, I mean, at least I should do it more. But I think a lot of people would it would be beneficial for many people.
Yeah, yeah,
do.
for sure, for sure. But I mean, since you're a top level competition climber, and I mean, it's one thing that I don't do it, or Vladek. Well, sorry, Vladek, that you don't do it, but I mean, it's a different game, right?
Yeah.
Although, I mean, even for us, it would be
I
good.
mean, it's a like it's for everyone. It's good to see yourself
Yeah.
from good side. Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's also like one of the good things about climbing in a group, like in Japan or wherever. If people kind of have an understanding of, climbing and movements, you can easily help each other. And
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. I think that's the way how should people train actually.
Yeah.
We can support each other and learn from each other. So yeah.
yeah, and like from how I started climbing, it feels way more natural to have this partner in a relationship than to have someone who stands like who's able to kind of tell you what to do on. Yeah.
But it must be kind of difficult on your level because there are not so many climbers in Sweden which you can train with, right? Or
I mean, you can always kind of adapt a little bit, or there are not many people who are like interested in like making an effort to doing their best.
I mean, yeah, because
Sometimes I can find for a few sessions, but for sure not for like every session.
Right, right.
Maybe it's changing now because there are a lot of youth climbers who just moved to like the West Coast to Gothenburg, so maybe it will change.
And I mean, if anything, I think it's super beneficial for them if they can train with you, because it's really important to have something to, a level to aspire for, sort of, which is not so good for you, I guess, but for them, it's at least it's really good.
Yeah. But I think also I mean I can I have my specialities and I have my weaknesses, so I can always learn from others.
Yeah, it's true, of
yeah.
course. But could you actually handle having someone like a Roman watching you all the time, trusting someone else to know better than you know yourself?
I mean it depends, I think. But yeah, it's I would say like yes, but probably it would be pretty difficult for me since I've been climbing a lot on my own and like planning my training, like not by myself all the time, but I have been like kind of in control a little bit at least, most of the time. Would be definitely be if it was like someone like Roman, I would definitely try, but
Yeah, I guess otherwise you need to I guess it's a process to gain that trust.
Yeah. But also, I mean, since I have been traveling a lot and meeting different trainers like around, because I mean, I try to join other team trainings. I climb with like a lot of different people who, I mean, indoor and outdoor and everywhere. So I want to think that I'm kind of open-minded and about training and like climbing in general. So I try. I mean, I try to listen because I need to, because otherwise it would be like very difficult for me to do what I do.
Trying to pick up the best pieces from wherever you are. Like I saw you training with these French guys for some time as well this summer, I guess it was. So we're going to make a sort of a segue into outdoors now. So, but first this, I mean, throughout your competition career and especially during the last years, you've done quite a lot of rock climbing between competitions. Do you think this has been beneficial for you, or rather sort of a necessity to stay sane and motivated? Like, is this something you feel you have to do, or is it some like because you really want it, or is it actually good for you? You think like for your results?
I think it depends what kind of climbing you do and what competitions you do. For bouldering, for me, I think it's not so useful to be outside. But for lead, I think some types of climbing can be good, like bouldering outside, and some kind of sport climbing is also good.
Will your coach agree with that?
Yes, I think so.
I know just two people who does
Yeah.
these things. That's you and Krudy. And I know
Yeah.
for sure Krudy's coaches, they don't like it so much.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't mean like you can do it all the time. You still need to have
Proper trainings.
yes, definitely. And I mean, the most part should definitely be. It's good if you do it. And I mean, it also depends. Like, I think in the future it will be more important to know every hold and to be really good in the style. But I think you can learn a lot from outdoor climbing.
I guess I think I mean as long as it's sport climbing, say, and then like sort of stamina routes or whatever, it's of course. I mean, it's sort of the same as training in on a competition wall, really. I mean, it's not the same holds, obviously, but it's the same sort of type of endurance. But I guess trad climbing and multi pitches and that kind of stuff, not so much. Huh?
No, that's pretty different. But
Yeah.
still, at the same time, you get really surprised how like similar trad climbing can be to competition bouldering. I mean, it's all about positioning. If you really simplify, yes.
Maybe not so much the paddle dynos.
If you kind of it, I mean, for sure it's dynamic, but if you're in the wrong position, you will never be able to do it. Yeah.
So this outdoor thing, we have a question here from Instagram. About the hardest route in Sweden at Niemisil, way up north, and it's a 9A, Sweden's first 9A. It's called Beginner 7B. So what's the story there, and how come it's not called that anymore?
Well, actually, I named it beginner in Swedish and graded it 7B.
Did you actually grade it 7B?
Yes.
How
Yeah.
hard is it? It's 9A.
Yeah, it was kind of a joke because there is a story about some people going to this crag asking about beginner 7B, and I don't really remember this story, but they were kind of rude, and this story has kept on going. And
So you got there and you put up the route, and you decided to call it beginner and it's 7B.
yeah.
Right. But as I remember it though, it's like instantly the news was that Hannes has climbed this route. It's a 9A and it's called beginner 7B.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a mix up because there were some other people who had been trying it, and they were like, yeah, it should be 9A or whatever. But yeah, I didn't really care. And I mean, I didn't really. I was in a pretty bad shape when I was there, so I didn't really know how difficult it was. So, and I mean since I was kind of doing this as a joke, and the locals didn't really think it was funny, so now they. I don't know. Matilda repeated it, and she called me and was like, "Yeah, can we call it like the project name?" I didn't know there was a project name, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't care what you call it. You can call it what you want. I'm still gonna call it beginner, but you can call it whatever you want." Yeah.
So, but do you stick by the grades? Do you still say it's 7B?
Yeah, it's a pretty. It's a good one. A stiff 70. Yeah.
Still 7B, right?
Yeah, but it's a pretty special route. It's the moves are not that hard, but they are really like kind of the same level, and I think it's like about 20 hard moves, or they're that hard, but to do 20 medium hard moves in a row is pretty. It's not so common. You do it. Yeah.
I think that was what Matilda said as well. That it's sort of, if you execute it perfectly, the moves, it's not so bad. But as soon as you make a mistake, you're off.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. If you have marginal, it's probably not so difficult, I think.
Yeah, but that's always the case, right?
Yeah.
And you had to play on Action Direct as well, right?
Yes.
And it went kind of well, but not so well.
Yeah. Last time I was there, I think I've had. I mean, I always pass by Frankenura like on the way to Font or something. So maybe I have been there 3 short trips, I think, and I usually stay there maybe 2 days or something. So last time I tried it, or like the first day or whatever it was, I had a few goes and I fell on the last move, the big one. I mean, I fell on the moves before as well, on the try before, and I thought I really thought if you did the hardest move, there was no way I was gonna fall, so I didn't check the ending good enough. And then I fell like on one move, and I was thinking again like, oh, this was really stupid. And then I think I did it like 3 times, and then I fell on the last move 1 time. But I think then I was like pretty tired. Yeah, it's really about power endurance. So, and then like that time I was like, okay, yeah, then that was fair. That was not stupid. I was just like tired. But I thought like, okay, yeah, I'll just come back tomorrow and do it. But yeah, I came back and I in one of the monos I didn't like pull out my finger. I kind of kept it a bit too much and broke it.
It was before some World Cup, right? Before Chamonix or something.
No, it was before the European qualifier for the Olympics.
Ah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Yeah, so it was maybe 1 week before. I was on my way to Innsbruck for training. Stop there and
Yeah. So Yosemite, it's been a few weeks now since you come back. This was your first time in Yosemite, but how much big wall or multi-pitch experience did you have before you got there?
I have done a few bits, but only for like a day push. I don't know how much. It's usually like a few every year.
In the same style, or I mean, climbing style? You climb a lot of slick granite and cracks.
Yeah, yeah, but I think like yeah, but I've done like multi pitches in other styles as well. Like I've been to Dolomite, I don't know, Reticon, Verdon, and a few of these places. Chamonix. Yeah, I guess Chamonix is like slick granite or yeah, some kind of granite.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And we mentioned earlier, like at the beginning, that you climbed this Disco 2000 on Blåmann in Norway, which is, I mean, if you compare it difficulty-wise, how would you compare it? I mean, it has like a couple of 8A pluses on it and a couple of 7Cs and so on. How would you compare it to a thing like Freerider?
Disco 2000 is way more difficult climbing wise than Freerider. Freerider, to my big surprise, was it felt like it was more or less only off-width and chimney. I mean, you heard about Monster off-width, and that one is like it's long, and yeah, and you kind of hear about the boulder problem. But if you have done like some granite bouldering, it's really not so difficult. But all the easy pitches were like pretty demanding because to go like kind of on site, it's pretty mental sometimes. We didn't have like these massive camps, so on Hollow Lake, for example, you down climb 20 meters, 30 meters, and then you traverse and then you climb up, I don't know, 50 meters. I didn't place anything on the whole pitch. And when you don't really know, because the climbing is too breezy and you're kind of in a chimney, so it's difficult to fall, but still you're like searching for something, but you don't. Then you climb a bit more and you still like, okay, still not anything. And then you look at like your partner on the belay and he's like far away.
Don't fall. Can you imagine to climb it free solo?
I think so these chimneys and off-widths, they are for sure like nicer to do free solo, but there are a few parts that are yeah, you really don't want to solo.
So you mentioned about the cams there that you didn't have a lot of cams, but you got some valuable support, I guess, from this guy Chris.
So yeah, it was really helpful. He helped us a lot with not only like equipment, but he had a lot of. It's really good to have like a few tips and tricks before you do a few like some certain routes.
Do you think you would have been able to do the things you did without some tips and tricks and support?
I think it's always possible, but it would be a worse time probably. In hindsight, I'm pretty sure I could be a lot smarter. Yeah, I'm definitely sure about that because we did some bad things.
Yeah, such as?
We stashed our bags on Hollow Lake, and when we got there, like we stashed the whole line, and so the mice had kind of we have I don't know 15 new core shots, and our water like tank, they had also like just big holes everywhere in it, so we didn't have water and.
So you didn't have water and you didn't have any hole lines, basically.
Yeah, I mean we just taped it up, like the water tanks. We taped up the water tank and we taped up yeah, the rope. So
You taped the rope.
yeah.
The rope you were climbing on, or the whole holding rope?
No, the whole line, the whole line. So we were like,
that's probably smart. And then you just ran down for water, or
yeah, actually we just because we went we climbed the day after it had been a storm for a few days. So it was like a lot of the climbing was wet, but also it was a lot of water running down from snowmelt. So we just filled the water tank in this water, which was also pretty smart because yeah, like my friend he has been like having pain in his stomach since then.
so okay, so the water wasn't that fresh, maybe. But you're okay.
So far, I mean, I was feeling like something for a few days now. And now it's good, but yeah, maybe it was something, or it was just imagination. I don't know. it wasn't a good idea.
Well, the best would have been, well, not to stash it there, I guess. So, I mean, so that was free ride, and the free rider, that wasn't the first thing you climbed there either. Maybe I should ask you instead, like how if you compare like the wet lycra nightmare to Disco 2000, because those are more similar in grade, right?
Yeah, I think so. It was definitely way easier to do wet lycra nightmare. I think, but I mean, wet lycra nightmare is it's more friendly. It's like more sporty.
Or sport climbing, like.
Yeah, if you can do bouldering on granite, it's should be fine. But like what I really like about Wet Like a Nightmare was that like after the crux pitch, you have like two pitches that are pretty long, and it's kind of goes from sporty to a bit more of a trad climb, and then it finishes off with like some kind of off with pitch.
And you climbed that really fast, like in a day or something.
Yeah, we just like went and did it.
I remember you telling me before you went there that Yosemite is going to be so good because it's just corners and slabs, and that's easy. It's going to go so well, which it did. But you say now it's actually way more cracks than you thought, which shouldn't be a surprise really, because it's really famous for the cracks, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Did you check any topos?
Not really. No.
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought that Indian Creek, Moab, that's splitters. And this big granite, it's like you do some jamming and you do some climbing. But yeah, it was surprising how much jamming it was for me.
And about that,
I didn't do so much research. Yeah.
it seems quite important to be like sort of a planning person, like make plans. If you climb big walls, I mean, to know what to do and have a plan, basically. Are you that kind of person?
Oh, no. But I don't really agree with this either. I just think planning makes it like more comfortable. But if you can always kind of compensate with like suffering and climbing skills, I think. Yeah.
Well, obviously, you have this enormous tick list to prove it. So, like,
Yeah, but I mean, of course, I'm not like. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Sometimes I really. A few times we kind of took water overrides, but you learn. And I mean, on this trip, for example, since we are there for the first time, and we are not that experienced, it's pretty difficult to plan when you don't really know how to plan. And I think you need to either like climb with someone who has a lot of experience, or climb like a lot until you kind of can learn from your mistakes.
yeah, and I mean, your learning curve must have been exponential.
Yes and no. Like a few times we didn't read the guidebook properly, so we spent like hours finding the base of the climb.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and also like we made it to the top and we had no idea how to get down.
That's not ideal.
It's more things like this. I think route finding and like that's can be a bit tricky. If you are like more motivated for climbing, then reading the guidebook, whatever.
Right.
Can be a
But it's gonna be so much easier next time, I guess.
yeah.
Or you're gonna read the book next time, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I want to believe I will, but probably I will not do it.
Not so steep learning curve then.
Again, so in hindsight now, like now you have some more experience than you had
Yeah.
from the beginning anyway. Do you have any kind of regrets about that you could have saved free rider for the flash?
I don't care so much. I mean, also like if I would want to flash something like that, I would have wanted to do like all the pitches on lead. At the same time, that's not really what big wall climbing is to me. I think it's big walls are a really like good way to like it's the only form of climbing where you are like a team. So
But what is the rule there or the ethics like when it comes to flashing a big wall? Because I don't think Babsi, for example, led all the pitches. He climbed the hardest ones, like on lead, but I think she followed on some of them, right?
I don't really know, but probably yes. I think you kind of do your own ethics as long as you're kind of open with what you did, and
Right.
it's a big difference how you do it. But
And I guess it's also a question for I mean, if you talk sponsors, I mean, now Babsi has flashed it before anyway, but otherwise it would have been like a big deal for your sponsors if you were to flash something that's like now you did coming to that, like you did a nose instead. So I mean, no worries there. But I somehow take it you're not that calculating in that sense. Like when it comes to what do the sponsors want?
And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty selfish, and I mostly climb for myself.
Have you ever seen the book Rockstars from Heinz?
Yeah, I didn't read it, but
No, it's like it's more with the pictures inside. I remember when I was young, and there was the picture like soloing the separate reality, which you climbed as well, and you climbed it in some approach shoes, I think.
Yeah, I kind of campus the book.
Campus, yeah. You never thought about to free solo it for the picture?
No, it's pretty extreme to solo it. I mean, it is if you do it a few times and you really like get to know the hand jams. Yeah, that maybe it's not that bad, but probably you will like die for sure if you fall. I mean, it is hand jam, so but they are kind of thin, so yeah, I wouldn't want to do it.
And it's pretty exposed, right?
It's super exposed there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like the style, it's pretty cool that they still that soloing is still a thing in Yosemite because it's not so normal in at least Europe. It seems like people do it there, and I really respect it.
So after Freerider, you only rested 2 days, was it, before you got on the nose?
Yeah,
Was this the plan?
not like we planned to do Freerider in 3 days, and we spent 5. So we were kind of running a bit short on time. I was gonna have my push with Jakob, but he was tired from Freerider, so I couldn't rest as much as I maybe would have wanted to, and I went with Jamie instead.
Mhm. Had you spent a lot of time on the nose, on the route before to practice pitches, or?
No, I was trying the crux pitches like Schnoz, and but actually I was mostly just trying changing corners. So I did that one time, and I went to Dolt Tower with Matilda once. So like 10 pitches, the first 10 pitches.
It went pretty quickly, I guess, for the first part, and then I mean, the difficult pitches on the nose are pretty high on the route.
Yeah, but actually it didn't go like the first day. Well, not super good because it was the first time me and Jamie climbed together doing big wall. So the first day we didn't have very good flow.
Wait. Was it the first time he was on a big wall? Did you say that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he had been doing like multi pitches before, but
Right.
not. It was the first time he hauled like a heavy bag, and it was the first time he spent a night on the wall. Yeah. But I mean, for me it was free rider, so I mean I had only done one before. So
Yeah, but that I mean, you ideally you would be with some seasoned veteran that knows everything, right, to make it easy for you.
yeah. I mean, yeah, sure.
Anyway, you were doing Jamie, so
Yeah, I mean, but it was only like the first day was yeah we weren't so efficient, but then like second day and the days after then we had like we got a really good we found like a really good way to work together, so then it was fine. Yeah, but I was pretty stressed after the first day. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Did you get up to anyway eventually to the great roof pitch, which was wet in parts?
I mean, yeah, so it's like first it's kind of an easy finger crack. It's a dihedral with like good slots, and then you kind of start traversing into a great roof. Yeah, so the beginning of the roof, like the whole roof was like the pods. It was running down water from pods, and like yeah, and also the holes before. Yeah, that was not so good. I mean, you could definitely climb it like when it was wet. But I had like a lot of tries where I was just just slipping off.
And once you get wet hands or fingers, is there any way? I mean, can you? I mean, are you ever sort of stable enough to get proper dry up, or do you have to just keep pushing? Or
Not properly dry, but I mean, it's not so useful to chalk up when your fingers are wet.
no?
I usually just chalk. I mean, but I mean, I've been to Norway and I've been climbing a lot on wet rock in Sweden. Maybe not on this level, but I mean, it's pretty good to just chalk up your pants and you just after doing moves you kind of dry your fingers on your clothes rather than in your chalk bag. That's usually pretty good.
So the great roof pitch is given, I think 8A plus, like 13C. What grade would you give it? The wet great roof pitch.
I mean, it's the thing about wet is like I mean, yeah, it's more risky. It's more random when you fall. Maybe it's not so much more difficult.
I think it's a lot more difficult. Must be more difficult.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's difficult because I never really tried it dry, so it's pretty
Right,
difficult.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah. So maybe 7B. Not 7B, maybe 7A.
I think it's pretty. Yeah, a lot of like the routes I did before on the trip was a good preparation for this one. Like Book of Fate is pretty good to have done before, because you kind of climb a really long way and then you do like a crux in the end.
How close were you actually to throwing in the towel there on the great roof pitch?
Like the first day, I fell really in the end. I was kind of reaching for the jug and I slid off, and then I was like, I was pretty happy because then I thought like, yeah, okay, I'll just rest and I'll do it tomorrow. It will probably be a bit drier. So, but the next morning it was, yeah, it was a bit worse. And I had like a few really, or not, they were not really bad tries, but I had a few like for sure worse tries. And then I waited the like during the day when it was hot. I had like a few tries in the start of the evening, and I was, yeah, it didn't go really well. It was a bit drier than the night before, but I think like because of like everything with the freerider not resting so much, I wasn't so motivated to do it. So I was like feeling, okay, now like it's wet. Yeah, it would just be nice to be home or whatever. I mean, I was on the wall for like 11 days or something during 2 weeks.
That's a lot. But I guess also you were getting stressed, I guess, from I mean time running out as well. You didn't have so much time left.
Yeah, but I was mostly not really like keen on trying anymore. Or that was my emotions. My emotions were like, whatever, I don't want to do this. But I was like, and it was nice because me and Jamie were kind of speaking about this, and I told him like, yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like sending this pitch, but I keep trying because like when I rationally think about the moves, they're not so difficult, and like if I do a few more tries, I'm probably gonna do it, but like my emotions were, saying something else. When I kind of just thought about it, it was like, yeah, it's gonna work.
Yeah. So it was never a case of like, this is the last try, and if I don't do it, I'll, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of gave. Yeah, I mean, I said to Jamie like, okay, I will try one more time, and then I fell. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna try one more time, and did it the third time. I don't really remember, but at least I did it one time.
But eventually, you got up it anyway, and you kept going, and
Me and yes, but after this, when I did it, it was pretty limit. But I felt like after this, it was a huge like mental boost. Then I was like, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do it.
so you felt confident that you because the actual crux pitch. I mean, apart from the fact that the Great Roof was wet, is or maybe you don't agree that the crux. Maybe you would say Great Roof is the actual crux pitch.
Uh, I don't know. It's difficult to say. Like considering how my experience was. But I mean, for the variation I did is like it's very kind safe. The climbing is difficult, but it's like safe. Yeah. So I was like pretty sure I was gonna do it.
Although no one had actually. I mean, the pitch was done before, but not the whole thing. First of all, is it the Schnoz or the Snooze?
I don't know. It's I mean in the name, I think in the beginning comes from Schultz because Dave Schultz was one of the guys who bolted it, and they so what I was told that so Dave Schultz and I think his name was Brooke. They bolted it in the early 90s, and then like this was the line that they were trying when they started to try to free the nose. Yeah. And then Lynn tried it, but she was like too short. So she tried changing corners instead and found a solution there.
So this is the real first ascent. That's what you're saying.
I mean, you know.
Anyway, you went for it, and you managed to do it. How would you describe it? This pitch.
So the difficult part is like you go from a no hand to you go on a face. It's pretty much a slab, or it is a slab, and then you go out right into like a feature which you lay back after, and the holes are really small and sharp, especially like the first 4 holes, and then when you kind of enter the layback, the holes get friendlier, and then you like the footholds are pretty big, but the rock is pretty slippery. So it's like the layback is pretty powerful, and the moves are pretty big.
Starfish big.
In the beginning, yes, but like then it's more just like you pull pretty hard. But I think I had a different method from Matilda who was trying it, and also from Alex Honnold who was also trying it. Yeah, but I was like I heard Alex climbed there one time without falling, and then he did one try on the Schnoz and got a split, and then he did like one more try and got one more, and he got like one split each try. So
How many tries did you need to?
so I started with when I got there, I started with trying the moves, choking up the holes, and then I did like the hardest part, but fell on the last pretty hard move. Then I did it the try after. So that was pretty good.
Fast and
Yeah, super
Yep.
fast, and but like you have to. By the way that you describe it, but it sounds of it. Yeah, you have to downplay it for sure, because I mean, those holes must be so small in order for it to be. I mean, people choose changing corners, right? So there must be a reason for that. Like it must be like super tiny holes and super difficult. Otherwise, people would choose to Schnoz, right?
Yes, but also like, yeah, I don't really know. I mean, it is, but I think I mean it's pretty normal to just kind of try what has been done before.
That's true as well, of course. But you also don't.
Do it as well. It's not like Matilda and Alex have been trying it. But actually, it was Thomas Huber who first told me about it. When I met him earlier, but just before the trip, he said like, yeah, you should just go for this variation.
It seems these Yosemite style seems to suit you quite well. I mean, maybe not at least the hard stuff. So, are you now sort of choosing between LA 28 and Dawnwall 26?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. Spontaneously, I would try to do both.
Yeah.
Climbing Dawnwall. I mean, I was there for 2 months now, and I could climb like a lot of the classics. I mean, besides from Freerider and the Nose, I had like 6 weeks of doing a lot of single pitch things, the classic like day multi-pitch climbs, and in like a lot of various styles. So like if I would go there next time, I would definitely have like a much more like goal, I think. Like to do one of the routes on El Cap, or try Dawnwall. And then it would be like easier to like it would make more sense with competitions than doing this kind of trip, definitely. But I mean, now I have a lot of time to prepare, and I think also with now the plan is to only compete in Deed, then I will have more time. So
But other projects, got a question from Instagram here. Do you have any plans to try any of the hard cracks on the Profilväggen in Norway?
I was there, I think, last year or 2 years ago for like 2 days, and I tried the recovery drink, and I would really like to go back. I couldn't try it properly because my knuckle was kind of injured, so it was well swollen. Yeah, it was stupid. I was in Switzerland. I was in Petit Clocher du Portalet, and like on the approach, I tripped on a rock and like punched. Ah. But like when I was climbing there, it was not a very big problem because it was like vertical. So, but then on Profilväggen, when it was steep and I really like pushed on the knuckle, it just it was not so good. Profilväggen is good. I want to go there definitely.
And any other projects after those?
Yes, I think now I will mostly I'm like locally around here. Yeah, I have a lot of things to repeat, and there are also a lot of projects.
Right. So before we wrap it up, we have the serious questions. So the first one is, how much do you bench?
Maybe I have done 95 as my PB. Now it would be more like 85.
That's still more than like
Most,
usually, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
Most climbers tend to be 60, 65.
Okay. Oh, maybe.
How many one-armers can you do?
Not so many. Like maybe one beautiful.
That's good.
If they're not, yeah, I'm not so strong.
So one beautiful and a few not so beautiful.
Yeah.
And pistol squats?
Yeah. No, then probably I can do a few, like 15 maybe.
15. That's
Wow. That's
wow.
that's like Louis Parkinson. He could do 15 as well, is that?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I didn't try, but yeah, something like that. It's not so difficult.
Okay, last one. And this one is comes from Nathan Hutte, Scarpa guy. How do you keep such a strong hair game?
Yeah, I don't. I don't really do anything.
Natural.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, you got it. Thanks so much, Hannes.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the best for next year, and we wish you a happy new year. and
Yeah.
hope to see you on this. So you weren't doing the first comps this next season, you said, but then you do most of the lead comps, I guess.
Yeah, there are 2 in Asia, I think, but I won't do them. So I will start
Right.
Europe. Yeah.
Cool.
Which is the first one, actually.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Hannes. It was great talking to you. And
Yeah. Thank you. Happy New
take
Year.
care out. Happy New Year. Ciao.